or February 25th or Halloween night, you can be pretty sure that if you wake up and somebody breaks up with you, it's going to be a lousy, lousy day. But there is one day in the calendar year where it's absolutely the worst time for someone to break up with you. And that would be the 1st of April. April Fool's Day, that wretched blemish on the calendar year where celebrity gossip sites want you to think that Ashton is dating Betty White, or your boss calls you into his office to say that he's resigning, and just as that euphoria starts to take over and you get that big smile, he tells you April Fools. Well, last year, my boyfriend of 4.5 years did the unthinkable. He broke up with me on April Fool's Day. And there are two things I remember the most about that day, among other things. The first is the soundbite, I don't think we click anymore. The second is that when you try to tell your friends and family that you've broken up on April Fool's Day, this is the conversation you will have over and over again. So, Bill, I have some bad news. Joe broke up with me this morning. Oh, man, I'm so... Wow, nice one! I almost fell for it. Thought you could pull one over on your brother. No, I mean, he just left and I've been crying all morning, and our laundry is like mixed in together and there's clothes in the closet and I don't know what I'm going to do, and oh, you got to try this on Mom and Dad. They'll totally fall for it. No, you're not listening. This is really happening. Hilarious, man. I can't wait to try this on, my friends today. You know what? I'll just talk to you tomorrow, okay? Rinse, wash, and repeat, right? So, I don't know, part of me thought that Taylor Swift song, We Are Never, Ever, Ever Getting Back Together, was like poorly written at first. But I actually think she probably just had someone break up with her on April Fool's Day. And the only way to communicate that to your friends is to say, never, ever, 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 ever again are we getting back together. Well, insert, here comes a dog, the story of a dog named Frida, who has been with me for 9 years. Now, Frida is a mix of a pug, a Jack Russell, and a Chihuahua. So I don't know what type of night of passion has to happen in order to create that mix, but I can only assume that it would spur someone like Rick Santorum to start a petition to put prayer back into schools. So Frida has seen a lot over the past 9 years. She's seen her dad excited and angry and in workaholic phase and nervous. She has never seen her father cry, and it totally freaked her out because she's sitting in a chair across the room. Her paws are stretched out and her head is just kind of there. She's looking at me with these big brown eyes and just staring, and it's like she's the child from Kramer versus Kramer, and she's saying, please get me in the divorce. Please get me in the divorce. Well, so more phone calls, more trying to convince people this isn't a joke, 7 or 8 phone calls with friends, and finally I just put the phone down and I sit back in the couch and I lay there and I look at Frida and I'm like, like I've done countless times before, I tap my thigh and I say, come here, Frida. And she just stays there and I'm like, oh man, she's really freaked out. So I tap my thigh again and I say, come on, Frida, come over. She cocks her head up and she looks at me with those brown eyes, and it's like she's trying to say, is this an April Fool's joke? You want me to come over? But that's the thing about dogs. They don't even know what April Fool's Day is, which is fantastic. So finally, in the most enthusiastic voice I could muster, I tap my thigh and I go, please, Frida, come here, come here, come here. She comes over and she trots over the floor and jumps up on the couch and puts her paws right on my thigh. And she looks at me like we just eyes lock. And this is where it gets a little weird. It's like I'm treating her like a priest in a confessional. And I'm like, Frida, I've got something to tell you. Joe broke up with me today. And the tears just start flowing, and all of a sudden, she puts her paws up on my shoulders, and without a moment's notice, just starts licking every square inch of my face. It's just everywhere. She's getting eye sockets and boogers and forehead and chin, and I think she even got the inside of my ear, and I didn't care, because on a day where there were absolutely no signs of love or loyalty, this was one sign of comfort that things were going to be okay. And so I know the rational side of me probably thinks that the only reason she did that is because when you take the salt from your tears and you combine it with the citrus body wash that I used earlier in the morning, I probably tasted like a giant piece of talking ham. But there's 10% of me that likes to think that on a day where she watched me try to communicate to multiple people how brokenhearted I was, she was the only one who could come over and with just a quick action of some dog germs that would send Lucy from Peanuts into the nervous breakdown phase, tell me the one thing I needed to hear. And that's that these tears aren't going to last forever.